Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Osmosis. Tonight, we are going to look at cell tonicity, cell content. Now, first of all, before we move ahead to this topic or a subtopic in osmosis, I would like to look at a little review on what we would have done on this area here. All right. So I'm just gonna pull up my screen and I'm gonna ask a few of you some questions. This morning or a previous session, we would have looked at movement of molecules in and out of cells. Our base topic is osmosis. We also know that the movement of molecules also cover another topic area, which is diffusion. However, we are not looking at diffusion now, we're looking at osmosis. So the first thing I want you to tell me is, what is osmosis? What did we study osmosis as? One person quickly. Tell me, what is osmosis?
The movement of water molecules through a selectively semi-permeable membrane to equalize the water flow from high concentration to low concentration.
Until
it's equalized.
Very good. Now, that is very good, dear Ashiana. Thank you very much. Now, I want somebody else to tell us, what is the importance of osmosis? Why you think it is so important? Yes, another volunteer?
It is important because it takes place in all living things.
It takes place in all living things. Could you state particularly, and let's jump to the next area there, where exactly does it occur? You said it takes place in living things. So can you give us an example as to where it takes place?
It's in the cells.
It takes place in the cells. Very good. Now, we would have spoken about that this morning, about cells and all of that here, but in our topic today, we're going to do a little more detailed work with that, okay? Now, our last objective, which we're going to review, is the use of diagrams to show osmosis in various environments. So I'm going to pull up a diagram, and I want one person to tell me or to explain to me how osmosis is occurring in that diagram there. Yes. So here I have osmosis in the roots of cells, plant cells, or the root here. So I want one volunteer to explain to me and tell me, how does this happen? Now, if you're asked to draw a diagram to show osmosis, you must be able to do this here. So tell me exactly, how does this happen? Yes, one person quickly.
Miss, it looks like the nutrients in the water moving out, and the nutrients in the water moving out of these cell by the same process of osmosis.
Is it moving out of the cells, or is it moving from the soil to the cells? Let's give somebody else another try. Go ahead, make another try.
Miss, the water coming out of the cell and the nutrients going in the cell.
I want you to look again at the diagram. The diagram here, we're having soil. This is soil. So tell me, which direction is it moving? This is your plant, and there is our soil. So look again carefully. You are not here in the previous session, so I want somebody else to give a try, but go ahead and give a try. Think again and look at the diagram.
The water coming out from the cell, which is a high concentration, so a low concentration, which is in the plant.
And then it is?
Then it is break down, concentrated.
Let's have somebody else to tell us about this diagram quickly.
Miss, the water in the soil is moving to the root hairs. The root hairs are observing it for the plant.
And where is it moving in the plant? Did it just jump into the plant just like that and it is left there? Where is it moving? Guys, you have to look at the diagram, start from one point and end to the other point. You just can't jump and leave it just like that. So if you're saying it's coming from the soil, it goes into the root here, then where else does it go? This is the end of the root here. There is the end of the root here. Where does it go after that? If here is the end of the root here, then which part is this here? Let me call on someone to see if we can get this clear up. And as I will always say to you, get your notebooks and make notes. It is very important because when we are finished here with this topic, we are finished. We're not coming back to it, okay? So you need to ensure you know it well. Good. So let's ask Aziz to elaborate on this diagram. Let's see what she has to say. If whatever you're saying is the same thing that she will be saying to me. Yes, Aziz, go ahead.
Miss, well, firstly, the water and other soil particles will travel up the cortex. It will be absorbed by the root hair, and then it travels up the cortex and into the xylem vessel, and it is distributed in the plant until the concentration is equalized.
You just changed my mood.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was well done. So did you hear what she said? She said that the water is moving. It is high in concentration in the soil. So whenever you're defining or explaining on an osmosis diagram, you need to explain it in the osmosis form. And you need to take notes, students. You need to write these notes down in your books. You cannot rely on your memory because every single day we lose 80 memory cells. Okay? So please write these things down in your books. They're very important for you to remember. So let's just go this over quickly because this is important of how you explain it. Sometime in the future, you may come across a lab which you'll have to do where your teacher may give you and say, here what? This is a piece of cucumber strip and you are placing it in water, and this water is of this level here, and you're asked to explain what happens after 20 minutes. How would you do that? How would you explain that? How would you explain that? So you must be able to say, where is it high and where is it low? Where is water molecules moving from and where is it going? And what will happen at the beginning and what will happen at the ending? And in doing so, that is how you link your osmosis definition. All right? So for me, if I was a student, I would have explained this diagram like this. I would say that osmosis is occurring in this plant cell. All right, it is occurring in this plant cell. How? In the soil where water particles and mineral particles are high. Now remember, solvent particles can move through the semi-permeable membrane because it becomes a solvent. Okay? It is high. So in the soil, the water particles and the mineral particles are high and they are moving from the soil into the root hair, and then they are moving upwards to the cortex and then into the xylem. Everybody get that there? So I am going to call on one more person to explain this one more time so that we can move on from this here, because just now you just give me a vibe as if you did not understand what's happening here. So it's very important that you understand that you have to look at where water is highly concentrated, which is here, and know where it is less concentrated, which is here. All right, students? Good. Then it is moving through the semi-permeable membrane, which is the root here. The semi-permeable membrane is inside of the root here. And then it is moving up the cortex and then into the xylem. So, where is it high? This is number 1. Where is it low? Number 2. Where is it passing? Number 3. And where is it going to? Number 4. Into up the cell? Number 5. Alright? So I want one more person to give it a try before we can actually move on. Yes. Who's gonna make me happy? Go ahead. Go ahead.
The soil is very concentrated with water and mineral salts, other stuff. Concentrated solution forms around the plant roots, and it enters through the plant interior cell, the root cortex, there, and the xylem cells. The xylem vessels carry them up to the leaves and the buds and the fruit that does.
All right. Thank you, Corwin. Now, you mentioned something there that I have to correct you. Concentrated solution, meaning that it is not dilute. That will give us the opposite. Highly concentrated water particles and mineral particles. Please be very specific with that. Because if you were to say concentrated solution, it could be things like very, very concentrated, like fertilizer and so on. And that can cause a negative impact on the cell, which we're going to study next. Okay? So, one more try. I'm going to get it until we get it, we're going to move on. One more try. Yes. Who is the next person? Aliyah wanted to give a try. Let's have Aliyah quickly.
Miss, so the water molecules and the soil particles in the soil are moving from the soil into the root hair cell as they concentrate the solution, and then it moves upwards into the cortex cells and then into the xylem and move outwards.
Okay.
Outwards of the roots.
All right. We can go with that definition, students. That is okay. But just let me close this slide for you and I will make my remark. So if I were to explain this, I would say water molecules and mineral molecules, which is highly concentrated in the root, is moving from a region of high concentration, which is from the surrounding of the root here, and it is moving to a region of low concentration, which is inside of this root here, through its semi-permeable membrane. It moves along the cortex of the root cells and then up into the xylem. This occurs until the concentration is equalized. Did you hear that, dear students? So I use the definition for osmosis and I make it in a certain way to suit the environments that is there. So anytime you're given a question, you must be able to answer that way, or any experiment or so, you must be able to elaborate it that way. Okay?